A rash of silly season moves will see some big shakeups on the Imsa grid next season. Big names are moving, meanwhile others are staying put, and a fan favorite returns to a team that he previously spent 7 seasons with. Well, the silly season news has really been picking up this past week, and starting with GTP news, one of the first big dominoes to fall was Jordan Taylor announced that he would be returning to Wayne Taylor Racing as part of their second ARX06 entry in the WeatherTech Championship next year. Now, it had previously been announced that Wayne Taylor Racing with Andretti Autosport would be adding a second ARX06 to their roster for the 2024 season, and this immediately called into speculation of whether Meyer Shank Racing was going to be out as an Acura team. This speculation also had some further fuel added to the fire recently with some comments from Mike Shank, but I'm not going to dive too far into that speculation right now. We're going to kind of let that play out and see where everything lands. But coming back to this Jordan Taylor news, the second entry meant that Wayne Taylor Racing was going to have to go out and get some more drivers. And the announcement that Jordan Taylor was going to be one of the drivers honestly came as a bit of a surprise to me. And of course, he previously spent 7 seasons from 2013 to 2019, picking up a couple of championships and Rolex 24 titles with the team. However, he'd had a great run at Corvette Racing for the last handful of years as well. For me, it was going to be difficult to see a situation where Taylor would leave Corvette Racing. However, I think this is a pretty darn good opportunity, and I know that he's going to go into that GTP car and excel. Speaking of excelling in the GTP class, though, his teammate that's going to be driving that car with him is certainly no slouch behind the wheel and has been very impressive this season. Luis Delatraz has competed with Wayne Taylor Racing this season in the Michelin Endurance Cup, and has done extremely well en route to a second place finish at the Rolex 24 in January, in addition to just looking very strong behind the wheel. This duo of Taylor and Delatraz is immediately going to jump in there and fight for GTP class victories, I think, and this is a really great second entry for an already very strong organization. It was also confirmed that Ricky Taylor and Felipe Albuquerque will continue to pilot the other WTR entry. Now, with the news that Jordan Taylor would be jumping back to Wayne Taylor Racing for Corvette, this of course left a seat open in the Corvette stable. We'll get into that in a second, but before we do, did you know that Off in the S's has a Patreon? Now, in addition to, of course, supporting the channel, you'll get some behind-the-scenes looks every month into the goings-on behind the channel, some plans for upcoming month's videos, and the best part is you can start off with a 7-day free trial. Just head to patreon.com/offinthes's or click the link in the show notes. Now, Jordan Taylor may have been the first big domino to fall in GTP, but the second big domino to fall was the announcement that Jack Aitken would be brought on as a full season driver for Action Express Racing. Aitken competed in a Michelin Endurance Cup role this past season, and he played a huge role in the team's 12 Hours of Sebring victory, that bringing that car across the line to take the checkered flag. He's also shown tremendous pace in some of the other races that he's competed in, having set the fastest lap of the race at the Salem 6 Hours of the Glen en route to a second place finish there, and he really has earned the right to compete in this seat as a full season driver alongside Pipo Derani. Now that begs the question of what happened to current full season driver Alexander Sims. Well, it certainly is no secret that Sims has struggled this season just a little bit. It was really highlighted at Road America recently, where he had that warm-up crash within the car that was set to start on pole. But despite this, he still has put up some strong performances this season. He also has a great background as a GT driver. Put this all together and he makes a perfect candidate to replace Jordan Taylor in the Corvette Racing stable. And that's exactly what he's done, landing as a full season driver for Pratt Miller Motorsports. Now, the 35-year-old has previously competed with Corvette Racing for 2 seasons as a third driver, having some strong performances in those seasons. He was also announced with the other stable of full season drivers for the team, as Antonio Garcia will remain with the team, as well as Tommy Milner, who's been instrumental in the development of the Z06 GT3R, with another driver that's not new to racing Corvettes, but is new to the North American side of things. That's Nicky Katzberg, who's competed this season and a full season entry in the WEC in their GTE AM effort. When you put it all together, these 4 drivers that were announced have a combined 34 years of Corvette racing experience. A pretty solid group of drivers to be heading into next season with. Now, despite the drivers being announced, the pairings for the 2 cars have not yet been confirmed. Some big LMP2 news here, as Ben Keating and Alex Quinn will team up to form a full season driver pairing for United Autosport. The team is expected to field 2 LMP2 entries in Imsa after previously competing in the WEC last season. Now, this move means that Ben Keating, who is widely regarded as one of the strongest bronze drivers in the world, will end his 3-year stint with PR1 Matheson Motorsports. Alex Quinn, who is racing with Ben Keating for the 4 Michelin Endurance Cup Series races this year, will also be joining him in a full season role at United. The 2024 season will be Alex's first full season in Imsa. Now we know about Rexy, and we also know about Roxy, but AO Racing plans to throw yet another entry into the Imsa mix next year, this time in the form of an LMP2 car. Now, it's been known for a little while that AO Racing has had this LMP2 car in their possession, as they had it out at a track day or a testing day, can't recall which one it exactly was, at Road America earlier this season. But now we know they have confirmed that will be an LMP2 entry on the grid for next season. The team will continue to campaign a GTD entry, except now they're going to be making the jump up to the GTD Pro class. The reason for this shuffle stems from IMSA's decision to not mandate a bronze-rated driver in the GTD class. Therefore, bronze driver and AO Racing co-founder PJ Hyatt will make the move to the LMP2 class, where a bronze-rated driver is a requirement. Now, with this move up to the LMP2 class, it means that other team co-founder Gunnar Henderson, who is a pro driver, will be able to stay in the GT ranks and bump that Porsche entry up to the GTD Pro class. So some great news here. It doesn't seem that Rexy is actually going anywhere. We're going to get another LMP2 entry on the grid next year in a class that seems to be filling up very, very fast. And in fact, with AO Racing fielding an LMP2 car in Imsa next year, it means that they're going to be the headlining class when Imsa makes its annual trip north of the border to CTMP. That's not the only interesting schedule note from next year, though, and you can check out everything that you need to know about the 2024 Imsa schedule right here. Huge shout out to all the Patreon supporters. If you too want to support the show, then you can head to patreon.com/offintheesses. Once again, though, thanks for tuning in. I hope everyone has a great race weekend. It doesn't go off in the S's.